welcome. Today you'll be joining me and I am going to be making a wreath, a Christmas wreath. So I've got all my supplies here and I'm going to show you right now what the final product hopefully is going to look like. So this is our wreath and we've got different kinds of things that we've got on here. I'm going to talk about those later, but eventually we're going to try to make the wreath look something like this. Now I've been making wreaths for 2 years. I mean, I just make them at Christmas time, so I don't have tons of experience, but it's a really fun thing to do. And it's fun because you can find all sorts of different things from your neighborhood and put them together in different arrangements. It's a very creative thing to make. So I would encourage you to try sometime. So I've got Norman fir here, a noble fir. If you go to a Home Depot or even a tree farm, oftentimes they've just got discards and they'll give them to you for free. So you can collect them and just bring them home. I've also got some juniper, and then I've got hawthorn bush berries here. And you're maybe wondering, ooh, are those poisonous? Actually, for human beings, no, they're not poisonous. I suppose anything in moderation, right? Like if you really want to poison yourself and you ate enough, maybe you could. But they actually are used for diabetes and for blood pressure and other different things. However, animals, on the other hand, I'm sure one little berry is not going to poison it completely, but I wouldn't let your animals go snacking on them. Anyway, if you're concerned, you could always do a fake one. But as you can tell, it does look fake, so I prefer the real ones. Here I've got some eucalyptus, and eucalyptus works really well. Maybe some people don't like the smell of it. I enjoy it. And when it dries, here's a piece that I had from last year, and you can see this got bent a little bit, but it's still, pretty decent. However, they'll stay pretty fresh looking for quite a long while, at least through December. So you don't really need to worry about that. Now, I like to put these little rosettes from a cedar tree, and I collect them. And when they dry, they open up and they look like little roses. But also there's other different kind of pine cones you can use. You can paint your pine cones and put little silver or gold tips on them. So those are my supplies. And then I've just basically got some stuff I ordered off Amazon. So I'm going to get started. I've also got a pruning tool here. So basically what I'm going to try to do is get fan-like bristles. And I tend to want them to arch kind of this direction. So they're kind of curving on my wreath like this. And I mix and match them. Some I'll do with some of the grayer eucalyptus, and then also with the berries. And the hardest part really is just getting started. And I'm going to take my wire and wrap it around maybe 3 times. Get it really snug. So I really want that to stay on well. Now, if I have excess stuff coming off the ends, I can always trim it later, so don't want to worry about that too much. Okay, now this piece, I'm going to add something else to it. So let's say I'm going to add some of my eucalyptus. I'm going to shorten this a little bit. And then I might want to hide some of the front of this. So the next one that I put on is essentially going to cover some of that, but I might want to put some of this juniper. I love this juniper because it kind of gives it like a lacy effect, which is kind of neat. Okay, so there I go. And I'm going to wrap. Okay, there you can see. It's getting started. Okay, I think I'm going to try some of my other juniper here. And maybe throw some berries in. Okay, there I have it, like that. And what's nice to do is to listen to some nice classical music while you're doing this, and it makes it even more enjoyable. Now this wreath, let's see, it's December 2nd today. Like this wreath is going to stay fresh and stay looking good all the way through the end of December. Things that you can do to help keep it fresh is maybe give it a little bit of misting with some water every once in a while. Okay, so I'm going to show you what it looks like so far. So I'm not quite halfway done, but you know, it takes a while. And I'm probably going to add some more of the eucalyptus. Okay, I've done 3/4 around, only a quarter left to go. And you know, while you're doing this, you might get some sap on your fingers, which is really irritating because I went to bed last night and I was making one last night. I had sap on me. But my husband told me that butter works really great with sap. And I tried it one time and it does. So I went downstairs, I lathered my hands up with butter and I got all of the sap off. So if you get sap on your fingers, just grab your butter. Seems like it's time for some more berries. Okay, now this fan is not working out because it's a little too tall. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of rearranging. Okay, that one is looking a little bit more fan shaped. Might need a little bit trimming afterwards, but let's give it a try. Now I'm coming to the end part now, which is the toughest part because I've got to fill in that gap and it's really hard to get the tree pieces in there sometimes. And I also don't want to have like a little V at the top. Then afterwards, I'll arrange it and decide which way looks the best up and then put a little hook on there. So I may have 1 or 2 more fans to do. Now this is the tricky part. I don't want to totally bring the wire right across all of these branches. So I've got to kind of weave it in. Now I'm going to hold it up. And probably there's some areas that might need a little trimming to round it off. Okay, so I'm not quite done, but as you can see, it's coming along. And I'm going to do a little bit more trimming to just make it kind of more round. And then I'm going to add my little rosettes like this. Now, in this one, I just added them just single rosettes, but sometimes I like to put them in a cluster of 3 and they look really pretty. It kind of depends on how the wreath works out. And if you just need to fill in the gaps, you just add your little rosettes, or if you want to go with a pine cone, more traditional like that, the pine cone looks great. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and I hope you will make a wreath of your own one day too. And they're fun to make different times of year too. In the spring, there's lots of flowers and other dried kind of plants that make wonderful wreaths. Anyway, I hope to see you next time and have a Merry Christmas. Bye.